In a world where almost everything is just a click away from being public knowledge, what if I told you that the most empowering thing you could do is keep a secret, not just any secret, but the personal milestones, the quiet victories that are yours and yours alone? We often forget that before the digital age, privacy was a cherished treasure. Stoicism teaches us the value of the inner self, the part of us that doesn't need applause to thrive. It's about understanding that some of the most significant battles we face are fought in the silence of our minds, and not every one of those needs to be a headline in our social feeds. As we dive into today's discussion, think about the last time you chose not to share something on social media. How did it feel? Liberating? A little rebellious, maybe? That's because you exercised a choice that goes against the grain of our share everything culture. You tapped into a story principle that's about as old as philosophy itself, the notion that not everything we do or think needs validation from the outside world. Now, if you appreciate what we're exploring here, a simple free favor you can do is hit the subscribe button. Today we're going to unpack why choosing what to share and what to keep to ourselves isn't just an act of privacy, it's an act of power. By the end of our talk, you might just see your quiet, unshed moments as the gold they truly are. So, let's get into it. When we talk about our personal values, we're diving into some of the most intimate aspects of who we are. These aren't just the standards we hold for our actions. They're the core beliefs that dictate every decision, every reaction, and how we perceive the world around us. Now, consider for a moment how value guide us through the chaos of everyday life. Stoicism teaches that it's not the events themselves, but our responses to them that shape our lives. Our values are our chosen responses, the paths we tread even when storms rage. They anchor us, giving us resilience against what we can't control. For example, if one of your core values is integrity, this will influence how you react when faced with a challenging decision at work or in personal relationships. It becomes your inner compass. During this, no matter the external pressures, you remain true to your course. But how do we identify these core values? It's one thing to list desirable qualities like courage, honesty, or loyalty, but understanding what truly resonates with our deepest self requires inner honesty. Understanding what truly resonates with our deepest self requires inner honesty. This is where Stoic exercises can be incredibly beneficial. They encourage us to reflect on our daily experiences and evaluate our reactions. Did I act out of fear or with courage? Was I honest even when it was difficult? These reflections help us see not just who we are, but who we aspire to be, allowing us to line our actions with our true nature. Stoicism doesn't just stop at knowing your value. It pushes for consistency between your value and your actions. This alignment is crucial because it's easy to claim a value. It's much harder to live it out, especially when tested. Stoics propose exercises like the evening reflection, where you review your day's actions and assess whether they were in line with your values. This practice doesn't just reinforce good behaviors. It also helps root out the inconsistencies, giving us a chance to course correct. Now, living in line with your values is undoubtedly rewarding, but it's not without its challenges. The modern world constantly bombards us with messages that can cloud our judgment or lead us astray. Social media, peer pressure, and even advertising can subtly shift our focus from our values to more superficial metrics of success, like wealth, fame, or physical appearance. Stoicism teaches us to recognize these external influences and separate them from our internal dialogue, which is essential in maintaining our path and not getting lost in others' expectations. Why is this alignment so vital? Because it ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. When our actions don't match our values, we feel it deep down, a kind of moral dissonance that can lead to stress, unhappiness, and even depression. But when they do align, there's a profound sense of peace and satisfaction that comes from knowing you are living true to yourself, regardless of external circumstances. This journey towards understanding and living your values isn't just about personal satisfaction, though it impacts everyone around you. When you live by your values consistently, you become a beacon for others. You inspire those who might still be searching for their path, and you offer a model of ingratitude and strength in a world that often values the opposite. Diving deep into what really makes us tick isn't just an exercise for philosophers or the introspective few, it's something that can benefit us all. Think about it like this. Identifying your core values is akin to mapping out the territory of your soul. It's about understanding the landscape of your inner world, which in turn shapes how you navigate the external world. And while it might sound like a hefty task, it's one that Stoicism, with its focus on self-awareness and wisdom, tackles head-on. Now, the process of figuring out these core values isn't about picking from a pre-made list. It's much more personal and profound than that. It involves a deep and honest look at what drives your decisions and actions at a fundamental level. What principles make you feel most alive? Which values, when you act on them, make you feel like you're being most true to yourself? These aren't questions that can be answered quickly. They require reflection, perhaps through journaling or meditation, both practices highly regarded in Stoic philosophy for their power to reveal our true natures. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom comes from within, from understanding our own virtues and how they connect to the universal virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. By identifying our core values, we're not just making a list, we're committing to a life that seeks to harmonize our actions with these virtues. For example, if you value honesty, then living truthfully in all your dealings is a way to practice the Stoic virtue of justice, aligning your personal values with a broader ethical framework. Furthermore, it's important to realize that our values can evolve as we grow and experience more of life. What we hold important may shift. This is where Stoicism offers another valuable tool. The practice of constant Stoics advocate for regular periods of reflection to reassess our values and ensure they still represent who we are and who we want to be. This isn't about inconsistency, it's about growth. As you face new challenges or learn from past experiences, your understanding of what matters most can deepen, leading to a more nuanced appreciation of your values. And let's talk about how these values play out in the real world. Identifying your core values has practical benefits that extend far beyond personal satisfaction. It affects your relationships, career choices, and even day-to-day decisions. When you know your core values, you can choose paths that align with your principles, leading to greater fulfillment and less regret. You'll be less likely to find yourself in situations that compromise your integrity or leave you feeling out of place. So, how can you start identifying these core values? Begin by considering times when you felt particularly full or right about a decision. What was driving that feeling? Was it a commitment to fairness, a desire to be creative, a need to challenge yourself, or perhaps a commitment to loyalty? Also, consider the opposite. Situations that made you deeply uncomfortable are just as telling. Often they signal a violation of a core value. It might seem like a buzzword at times, but light management, matching what we do with what we believe, is one of those pivotal ingredients in a life that feels genuinely fulfilling and authentic. When our actions and our values are in sync, there's a kind of harmony that permeates everything we do, from the way we interact with others to the personal goals we set and strive to achieve. In the realm of Stoicism, this line is not just recommended, it's considered essential to living a virtuous life, one that is consistent and true to oneself. So why does this alignment matter so much? Think about the internal conflict that arises when we act in ways that contradict our core beliefs. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? There's a discord, a nagging sense of being out of step with ourselves. Stoicism teaches us that peace of mind comes from living a unified life, a life where our thoughts, actions, and values are all pulling in the same direction. The ancient Stoics believed that dissonance between these elements leads to turmoil within the soul, while alignment brings tranquility. Consider the Stoic idea of living according to nature, your own nature and the nature of the world. This means understanding who you are and what you stand for, and then acting in ways that are congruent with that understanding. When there is a clear line between your beliefs and your actions, decision-making becomes more straightforward. Stress levels drop and confidence grows because you are no longer at war with yourself. You're not pretending to be someone else or living by someone else's rules. You're being fundamentally true to your own values and principles. This alignment also impacts how we relate to others and navigate the world. When you live in alignment with your values, people know what you stand for. This transparency builds trust and respect, qualities that are crucial in both personal and professional relationships. It also makes you a stable and predictable partner, friend, or leader, not murkier or inconsistent, but reliable and steadfast. Moreover, living in alignment attracts others with similar values, creating a support network of like-minded individuals who reinforce and share your commitment to certain principles. The process of achieving and maintaining alignment isn't always easy, particularly in a society that often values expediency over it. It requires a constant process of self-examination and adjustment. Reminiscent of the Stoic practice of the evening review, at the end of each day, Stoics reflect on the actions of the day, asking yourself, did my actions today reflect my core values? Where did I fall short, and how can I improve tomorrow? This practice isn't about self-reflection, self-excellence, but about self-improvement and realigning our daily actions with our deeper value. Moreover, active life offers a deeper sense of satisfaction with life. There's a profound joy and peace that comes from knowing you're living in a way that's true to your deepest beliefs. This isn't the fleeting happiness that comes from external achievements or the approval of others, but a dailable, enduring contentment that sustains through life's ups and downs. It's the kind of happiness that Stoics aim for, a happiness based on virtue and self-consistency. In a broader sense, living with alignment helps us navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. When we face tough choices or adversity, being anchored in our values provides a guidepost for action that feels right, even when the right action is difficult. It enables us to act with courage and integrity because we're not just reacting to external circumstances. We're responding in a way that's consistent with our deepest self. Sticking to your core values sounds straightforward when you're in a calm, controlled environment, right? But let's face it, life isn't a controlled environment. Life is unpredictable, messy, and full of temptations and pressures that can easily veer us off course. This is where the real challenge comes in, maintaining that limit between what we believe and how we act when the world around us seems intent on touching those beliefs at every turn. One of the primary hurdles we face in staying aligned is the external pressure to conform, whether it's from our social circles, workplace, or society at large. There's often a strong push to fit in. This can mean adopting behaviors or making choices that don't match up with our internal compass. The Stoics were well aware of this challenge and emphasized the importance of fortitude and personal integrity in the face of societal norms. They advocated for a kind of moral courage, the courage to stand firm in your convictions, even when doing so might make you stand out or swim against the current. Another significant challenge is the complexity of modern life. We are bombarded with choices and information, and often the right path isn't clear. It can be tough to discern which actions lie with our values, especially when those values might conflict with each other, or when the consequences of our choices are uncertain. Stoicism offers a tool here as well, the practice of reflection and contemplation. By taking the time to reflect on our decisions and their alignment with our values, we can navigate complex situations more effectively. This reflection also involves being honest with ourselves about our mindset and the potential impacts of our actions, ensuring that our choices are not only intentional, but also informed. Additionally, there's the issue of short-term dishonor clashing with long-term values. In moments of weakness or stress, it's all too easy to give in to impulses that might lead us away from our principles. Here, the Stoic practice of self-discipline and control over one's passions comes into play. Stoics believe that by mastering our impulses, we can ensure that our actions remain in line with our deeper values, rather than being derailed by feeling desire, mover, maintaining alignment requires continuous effort and vigilance. It's not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. Our environments change, we evolve, and our understanding of our values can deepen over time. This dynamic nature of life means that staying aligned is an ongoing process of adjustment and realignment. It requires us to be perpetually mindful and proactive about our choices, a concept that is at the very heart of Stoic philosophy. Sometimes the challenge also comes from within, in the form of self-doubt or lack of self-awareness. It's possible to be sincere in our intent to live according to our values, but misguided in our execution. This might be due to blind spots in our self-awareness or misunderstandings about what our values truly imply for our behavior. Stoicism encourages us to seek wisdom continually, not just about the world, but also about ourselves. This includes recognizing and confronting our limitations and biases, and being open to learning and growth. In facing these challenges, it's crucial not to be too hard on ourselves when we falter. The Stoic path isn't about achieving perfection, but striving toward becoming better versions of ourselves. Each challenge offers a new opportunity to strengthen our commitment to our values and to practice the virtues that Stoics hold dear: wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. When it comes to keeping our actions in sync with our values, it's often easier said than done, right? Even with the best intentions, the hectic pace of daily life can sometimes scatter our focus. Luckily, there are some practical, down-to-earth strategies we can adopt to help ensure we stay on track. These substances are acting on them becomes second nature. First up, let's talk about setting clear, actionable goals that reflect our core values. It's like giving yourself a roadmap where each milestone is aligned with your deeper beliefs. Say one of your values is compassion. You might set a goal to volunteer a certain number of hours each month. This isn't just about doing good deeds. It's about MBSing into your life in a tangible way. Similarly, if integrity is a key value for you, your goals might include always being transparent in your communications at work, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Another powerful strategy is to create daily rituals that reinforce your values. The Stoics were big on routines that helped them embody their philosophy. For instance, you might start your day with a few minutes of reflection on what your values are and how you intend to demonstrate them throughout the day. This could be as simple as a morning meditation or journaling session where you set your intentions to be patient, frugal, or whatever else aligns with your values. Reflection is key here, and it's something the Stoics practiced diligently. They believed in the importance of examining one's actions at the end of each day to see if they lived up to their ideals. You can adopt this practice by taking time each evening to review your day. What did you do that was in line with your values? Where did you fall short, and how can you improve tomorrow? This isn't about beating yourself up over mistakes, but about acknowledging where you can do better. Accountability partners can also play a crucial role in maintaining alignment. Share your goals and how they relate to your values with a friend or a mentor who can help keep you honest. Just like a workout buddy can motivate you to hit the gym, an accountability partner can help keep your actions aligned with your values. They can offer a fresh perspective when you're facing challenges and celebrity with you when you successfully embody your values. Incorporating visual reminders of your values into your environment can also be incredibly effective. This could be as simple as posting quotes that resonate with your values around your workspace or home. Each time you see these reminders, they can serve as a prompt to act in ways that reflect your deepest beliefs. For instance, a Stoic might keep a symbol that represents tranquility, an essential aspect of Stoic calm in their living space, to continually remind them of their commitment to maintaining inner peace despite external chaos. Practicing mindfulness can enhance your ability to live according to your values. Mindfulness helps you become more aware of your thoughts and actions in the moment, allowing you to make choices that are more deliberate and aligned. When you're mindful, you're not operating on autopilot. Instead, you're fully present and making conscious decisions that reflect your values, which is a core aspect of Stoic living. Learning to confidently say no is like developing a superpower in today's yes-centric world. It's not just about turning down invitations or requests. It's a profound act of self-respect and a crucial component of living a life aligned with your values. Think of it this way. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your core beliefs, you're actually saying yes to your own priorities, health, and well-being. But saying no isn't always easy. We're often conditioned to avoid it for fear of seeming rude, unhelpful, or selfish. Hence, Stoicism offers a counter to this mindset by emphasizing the virtue of wisdom, knowing when different choices serve our higher goals. When you say no to demands that clash with your values, you're actually exercising practical wisdom. You're making a deliberate choice to honor your commitments to yourself and your vision of the good life. One effective strategy to say no with confidence is to be clear about your reasons, both to yourself and to others. When you understand and can articulate why something doesn't align with your values, it becomes much easier to communicate that decision succinctly. For example, if you value personal growth and someone incites you to a project that you know will lead nowhere, explaining your focus on meaningful projects can help both you and the other party understand your refusal. Another key aspect is to practice assertiveness. Being assertive doesn't mean being regressive. It's about being firm and straightforward in your communication. It's perfectly okay to say, "I appreciate your thinking of me, but I can't commit to this right now." Or, "This isn't right for me, but thank you for the offer." These responses show respect for both yourself and the person making the request, maintaining the relationship while still standing your ground. It's also important to normalize saying no for yourself. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Start with small things, like declining an extra responsibility at work when your plate is already full, or saying no to a social event when you need time to recharge. As you grow more accustomed to pushing back against smaller demands, you'll build the confidence to say no in more significant, higher-stake situations. Moreover, remember that saying no can sometimes lead to feelings of guilt or worry about missing out. Here, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our inner state and not be troubled by external judgments or fears. Reflect on the tranquility and freedom that come from making decisions aligned with your personal philosophy, rather than decisions driven by anxiety or a desire for approval. Consider the long-term benefits of saying no. Each time you make a choice that aligns with your values, you reinforce your identity and integrity. This not only builds your confidence, but also strengthens your reputation as someone who is clear, reliable, and principled. Over time, people come to respect your choices and your willingness to stick to your beliefs, which, in itself, can reduce the pressure to conform. In the whirlwind of our daily lives, where challenges loom at every corner, the strength to not just survive but thrive is something we all yearn to harness. Imagine, then, not merely pushing through but evolving through every trial, emerging not only unscathed but stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Today, we delve into the core of what it means to be unbreakable. We explore the 6 defining habits of mentally strong people, habits that are not inherited but forged in the fires of discipline and self-reflection. Each moment of hardship, every instance where life knocks you down, these are not merely obstacles, but opportunities. Opportunities that mentally strong people leverage to fortify their inner strength. What if I told you that the secret to enduring strength isn't about never falling, but about learning the art of rising every time we fall? It's about embracing the pain, learning from the turbulence, and transforming turmoil into triumph. So if you see the value in turning challenges into stepping stones, then join us, subscribe, and become part of a community committed to building strength. Are you ready to discover the incredible potential that lies beyond your trials? Let's get started. The very nature of life is change, yet how often do we find ourselves fighting it, resisting it, as if we could somehow escape the inevitable? The truth is, change is not just a part of life, it is life itself. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the only constant is change, and the mastery of one's life lies in the ability to adapt. To be mentally strong, to truly thrive in the midst of life's tempests, one must not only accept change, but welcome it with open arms. Think about the last time you faced a significant change. Perhaps it was a move to a new city, a shift in your career, or even a change in a personal relationship. Was it uncomfortable? Did it feel like you were losing a part of yourself? These feelings are natural, but here lies the crucial insight. Within that discomfort lies a profound opportunity for growth. Imagine for a moment that you are a ship at sea. Change is the wind. It can be unpredictable, wild, and frightening. But those who are mentally strong are the skilled sailors, adept at adjusting their sails, using the wind to propel them forward rather than be dashed against the rocks. They understand something fundamental, that the wind is not their enemy but a force that can be harnessed to explore new horizons. Stoicism offers a perspective that change, no matter how daunting, carries with it the seeds of new strength. It teaches us that what we initially perceive as setbacks are often veiled opportunities. It's about perception. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "Our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or dispositions, because we can accommodate and adapt. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting, and this adaptation, this resilience, is at the core of mental strength." Let me share a story that illustrates the power of embracing change. It's about a friend of mine who lost his job, a career he had built over decades. Initially, he was devastated, overwhelmed by uncertainty and fear, but then he took a step that many might find counterintuitive. He embraced this dramatic change. He used his newfound time to pursue a passion he had always placed on the back burner: painting. Fast forward to today, and he not only found solace in his art, but has turned it into a thriving new career path. This wouldn't have been possible if he hadn't embraced the winds of change, stepping into the unknown with courage. So, how can you start to embrace change? Begin by viewing each change as an experiment, a step towards discovering new aspects of yourself. Whether it's changing a habit, altering your routine, or even changing the way you think about change itself, each step is a lesson, each pivot a chapter in your story of growth. Remember, every time you embrace change, you're not just adapting, you're setting the stage for transformation. Change breaks the old to make way for the new, and in that newness, you find new strengths, new passions, and new paths to happiness that you could never have anticipated. This isn't just about suppressing what you feel. Far from it. It's about understanding your emotions, channeling them constructively, and maintaining equilibrium even in the face of life's upheavals. We've all been there, right? Those moments when our feelings seem to get the better of us, clouding our judgment, dictating our actions. But what if we could master these tempestuous seas, navigate through them with the composure of a Stoic philosopher? Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control what happens to us, we absolutely can control how we respond. Picture this. You're faced with a situation that typically sends your heart racing and your mind spiraling into a vortex of what-ifs and whys. Now, imagine observing your reaction as an outsider, acknowledging the surge of emotion but choosing a different response. You take a breath. You pause. In that pause lies your power. The power to choose a response that aligns with your values, not just your instincts. This approach doesn't mean your emotions are invalid or that they should be ignored. Quite the contrary. It means you recognize and respect your feelings without letting them steer your life off course. It's about saying, yes, I feel this anger or anxiety, but I choose not to let it dominate my actions. It's about reclaiming control. One thought, one decision at a time. Think of the last time you faced a stressful situation. Maybe it was a disagreement with a friend, a setback at work, or a financial strain. Reflect on how you reacted. Did your emotions lead to actions you later regretted? Now, let's reimagine that scenario. This time, you channel your inner Stoic. You allow yourself to feel the emotion fully and without judgment. You observe it, understand its source, and then gently but firmly guide it to a place of reason and wisdom. This self-regulation is not about denial, it's about management and transformation. It's turning the heat of anger into the light of understanding. It's transforming the paralysis of fear into the clarity of caution. By mastering our emotions, we don't just endure life's challenges, we thrive amidst them. We turn our emotional energy into fuel for personal growth and achievement. And here's something else. Each time you successfully manage an emotional response, you build a little more resilience, a little more strength. Like a muscle that grows stronger with exercise, your emotional resilience expands with each challenge faced and overcome. You begin to trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way, not because you are the master of it. So, next time you find yourself in the whirlwind of emotional turmoil, remember this. You have the tools to calm the storm. You can acknowledge your emotions as natural, but choose actions that are rational. Embrace the Stoic wisdom that has empowered countless souls through millennia, not as a suppression of emotion, but as a transformation of it. Harness it, mold it, and let it elevate you to heights you never thought possible. In a world that never sleeps, where the demands on our time and energy are incessant, learning to set boundaries is not just wise, it's essential. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-mastery and inner tranquility, but how often do we sacrifice these for the sake of others? The truth is, without setting firm boundaries, we risk not only our well-being, but also our ability to pursue what truly matters. Think of your energy as a sacred reserve, a finite source that fuels not only your daily activities, but also your deepest passions and pursuits. When this reserve is depleted by the countless demands of others, be they work commitments, social obligations, or even the subtle pressures of digital media, what's left for you? How can you pursue your personal goals or invest in self-care when your energy has been spent on everything but yourself? Setting boundaries is thus not about selfishness, it's about self-preservation. It's about discerning what truly deserves your time and energy, and having the courage to say no to the rest. Stoic philosophy doesn't call us to turn away from the world, but to engage with it on our terms, to ensure that our interactions are intentional and our commitments meaningful. Let me tell you a story about a close friend of mine, someone who always went the extra mile for everyone. She was the first to arrive and the last to leave. The person who volunteered for every project, who never said no. Initially, it seemed like her boundless energy knew no limits, until it did. One day, she confided in me that she felt exhausted, not just physically but emotionally. She was giving so much to others that she had forgotten to give to herself. After much reflection, inspired partly by the Stoic practice of self-reflection, she began to set boundaries. She started small, by limiting the number of projects she would take on, and by carving out time for her hobbies. The change wasn't instant, but over time, she found herself feeling less drained and more fulfilled. She was still generous with her time, but now it was on her terms, ensuring she had enough left for the things that truly enrich her life. How then can we start setting these vital boundaries? It begins with self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect on what parts of your life feel overwhelming or draining. Is it a particular commitment that brings more stress than satisfaction? Or perhaps it's a relationship that demands more than it gives back. Recognizing these drains on your energy is the first step toward setting boundaries. Next, communicate these boundaries clearly and firmly. This doesn't mean being confrontational. Rather, it's about being honest with others about what you can and cannot do, what you are willing to accept and what you are not. It's about teaching others how to treat you by showing them what you value. And finally, enforce these boundaries. It's one thing to set them, it's another to maintain them. This might mean turning down invitations, stepping back from obligations that no longer serve you, or simply learning to prioritize your own needs alongside those of others. This enforcement isn't a one-time act, but a continuous process that requires dedication and commitment. In the tapestry of life, every thread you weave plays a part in the larger picture of your story. Each decision, every action holds the weight of potential outcomes, and understanding this is pivotal. In the world of Stoicism, there is a profound emphasis on the concept of taking responsibility, not just in our actions but also in our reactions. The Stoic philosophers taught that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we have absolute power over how we respond. This doctrine isn't just about accountability, it's about empower. Let's delve into a narrative that perhaps we've all lived in one way or another. Picture yourself working on a project that's close to your heart. You've poured in hours, days, maybe even months of effort. But despite your dedication, things go awry. It's a familiar scenario, isn't it? Maybe the results fell short of expectations, or an unforeseen issue threw everything off course. It's in moments like these that your character is tested. Do you look outward, casting blame on circumstances or others? Or do you look inward, assessing what part you played in the outcome? I remember a time when I faced a similar situation. It was a project I believed in deeply, and initially, when it didn't pan out, my first instinct was to blame external factors. The timing was off, the resources were insufficient, the support wasn't adequate. But upon reflection, a fundamental Stoic practice, I realized that these were elements I could have anticipated, perhaps even mitigated. Acknowledging that I had missed these signs was tough. It's not easy to admit our oversights. However, this admission was a turning point. It shifted my perspective from one of blame to one of learning. I asked myself, what can this teach me? Instead of, why did this happen to me? This shift is crucial. It transforms moments of failure into opportunities for growth. When you take responsibility for your actions, you move from a passive state, where life happens to you, to an active state, where you happen to life. You start to see every challenge as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This doesn't mean you won't encounter frustrations or disappointments, but instead of allowing them to defeat you, you use them as fuel to forge ahead, to refine your strategies and to strengthen your resolve. Taking responsibility might sound daunting, but it begins with simple, everyday decisions. Start by owning your choices, both big and small. Did a conversation not go as planned? Reflect on your words and consider how different approaches might yield different results. Was a goal not achieved? Evaluate your methods and determine what adjustments are necessary to succeed next time. Each act of responsibility reinforces your agency and your capacity to influence your destiny. And remember, taking responsibility is not about shouldering a burden of guilt. It's about embracing a position of control. It's about saying, here is where I can do better, not here is where I failed. The Stoics believed in focusing on efforts, not outcomes, and in finding value in every experience, positive or negative. In the relentless pursuit of our goals, we often become our own harshest critics. It's easy to spiral into self-doubt and criticism when things don't go according to plan. But what if I told you that the secret to sustained success and inner peace lies not in constant self-critique, but in practicing self-compassion? This isn't just about being kind to yourself. It's about acknowledging your struggles, accepting your imperfections, and still choosing to nurture your spirit, much like the Stoics, who emphasized understanding and managing our own perceptions and reactions. Consider the times you faced setbacks or failures. Think about how you responded. Did you berate yourself, or did you take a moment to offer yourself understanding and grace? The journey to achieving anything significant is often riddled with obstacles and setbacks. It's how you speak to yourself in these moments that can either forge a path forward or create a barrier that is hard to break. I remember once, after a particularly challenging project, I found myself caught in a storm of self-criticism. I had worked tirelessly, yet the outcome was far from what I had hoped for. Initially, my inner dialogue was harsh, filled with messages of failure and self-doubt. But then I paused. I realized that if a friend had come to me with the same story, I would have offered words of encouragement and support, not criticism. Why, then, was I not offering the same to myself? Self-compassion is this shift in dialogue. It's treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. The Stoics teach us not to be disturbed by events, but by our perception of these events. By practicing self-compassion, you alter your perception of your experiences from negative to nurturing. This doesn't mean shying away from responsibility or ignoring your mistakes. Instead, it means accepting your imperfections, learning from them, and moving forward without the heavy baggage of self-judgment. Practicing self-compassion starts with recognizing your humanity. Understand that to err is human, to struggle is part of growth. When you make a mistake, instead of diving into a sea of self-criticism, ask yourself, what can this teach me? Use setbacks as learning points, not as anchors that pull you down. Another step is to be mindful of your inner critic. Listen to the voices in your head and challenge them. Are they fair? Are they helpful? Would you say them to someone else? If not, it's time to reframe them. Replace critical thoughts with supportive, compassionate ones. This shift not only changes how you view yourself, but also how you interact with the world. Moreover, make self-compassion a regular practice. Just like physical exercise strengthens the body, regular moments of self-compassion strengthen your mental and emotional resilience. Set aside time to reflect on your day. Focus on what you did well and where you could improve, always through a lens of compassion. Embracing self-compassion means breaking free from the confines of self-doubt and adopting a more forgiving, understanding approach to personal challenges. It allows you to celebrate small victories while constructively learning from the losses. With self-compassion, you are not just surviving, you are thriving, learning to sail smoothly on the rough seas of life. In a world that constantly changes, the ability to keep learning and evolving is not just a skill, it's a necessity. Imagine navigating life's vast ocean with the relentless spirit of a voyager, one who knows that behind every horizon lies new knowledge and endless possibilities. This is the essence of mental strength, a perpetual thirst for growth, a deep-seated resolve to never stand still. It's about embracing the Stoic belief that life is a teacher and every experience a lesson. Remember, the path to self-improvement isn't paved with dramatic breakthroughs, but with continuous small steps of progress. Each step is a piece in the puzzle of who you are and who you might become. Think about the last time you learned something new, how it felt, the excitement, and sometimes the frustration. Did it change the way you think? Did it inspire you to explore further? This is the power of learning. It transforms your mind, expands your horizons, and reshapes your world. Let me share a personal story that illustrates this transformative power of continuous learning. A few years ago, I decided to delve into the art of photography. At first, it was merely a hobby, a way to capture moments of beauty. But as I learned more about the techniques, the history, and the stories behind each image, photography became more than just a pastime. It became a new lens through which I viewed the world. It taught me about light and shadow, about perspective, and most importantly, about the details that we often overlook. Each photograph became a lesson in patience and observation, and each lesson enhanced not just my skills with the camera, but my skills in life. To never stop learning is to maintain a state of readiness, to be adaptable in the face of change, and to always be prepared to seize new opportunity. It's about being curious and allowing that curiosity to propel you forward. Ask questions, seek answers, and challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone. Whether it's picking up a new book, starting a new course, or simply exploring a new hobby, every new venture is a step toward becoming a more rounded, enlightened individual. Embracing continuous learning also means acknowledging that we never fully arrive. There is always something more to know, some new skill to acquire. This might seem daunting, but within this realization lies true freedom. The freedom to reinvent oneself, to innovate, and to pivot without fear of the unknown. Stoicism teaches us not to fear failure, but to use it as a catalyst for growth. So when faced with challenges, don't shy away, dive deeper, learn from them, and emerge stronger. Moreover, make this journey of learning a shared one. Engage with others who are on their own paths of discovery. Exchange ideas, debate theories, and collaborate on projects. These interactions not only enrich your learning experience, but also build a community of like-minded individuals who support and inspire each other. Remember that the goal is not just to accumulate information, but to understand deeply, to apply wisely, and to live fully. So, I urge you, keep pushing the boundaries of what you know. Keep challenging the limits of what you can do. After all, in the words of the great philosopher Seneca, as long as you live, Keep learning how to live.